In this video, I'm going to introduce Jamboard as a tool, a collaborative tool that you can use with your students or with your stage for planning, collaboration, and as a way of using a collaborative board. So Jamboard is part of our Google for Enterprise School account. So it's something that already exists in our Google suite of apps or in our Google Drive. So if I click on the app stack here, and I scroll down to the lower sort of apps. It's one of the more extended apps. You'll find it sitting here. It's called Jamboard, and it looks like a J. So this is the symbol for Jamboard. So I click on that to open up my Jamboard landing page. And this will take me to essentially a place where all my Jamboard files sit. And it's a space that I can, a place where I can access files that I've previously created or create new files and issue those to students. So I'm just going to open one from last year just to show you what a Jamboard looks like. So I'm looking at this row your boat activity that we did with 3P in 2020. Okay, so you can see that I'm in my jam, and so a Jamboard is essentially a collaborative board. So it's a space where lots of students can log in at once and collaborate on a task or a project. So you can see the example here. The image was in the middle and the students created collaborative ideas around the image in the particular boxes that, or problems or Venn diagram that was created. So essentially what they've done here is just use sticky notes to share their thinking. But you can get your students to respond in other ways. They can include images or videos or GIFs. They can draw shapes. They can type. They can write. They can draw pictures. So it's quite an open task. Now, if I was a student and I received the Jamboard link and I went in and this is what I saw and my teacher had verbally spoken to me about what was expected in the task, I knew that I had to create a sticky note. I would come over here to my toolbar on the side, and you can see I have lots of different options. I can write on the jam with the pen. If I want to erase something, I can. I can use the move tool, so that lets me pick things up and move it around. And that could be part of the activity that you assign the students, where they have to move things around. I could use the sticky note tool, which is what the students have done here, and that essentially creates a post-it note on the card or on the page. I can use this tool here to add an image. And it could be an image that I have on my computer, something that I've taken with my camera, or something that I find on Google Images. I can, draw a shape. So at the moment, the default is circle, but if you click on your side arrow, you can see there's lots of different shapes there, or I can add a text box. So they're just some of the ways that students can respond in a Jamboard. So my teacher has instructed me, she would like me to include a post-it note where I share my thoughts about what's happening in this on this page. So what's the problem here? So I'm going to click on the sticky note tool. I'm going to type out my sticky note. The bear is stuck in the tree. And you can see I can modify, so I can change the color. I can add my name and I hit save. And what that will do is immediately create a post-it note on the page that I can then pick up and move and place where I want to place it. So that's how I would respond as a student to a simple Jamboard. Now, you'll notice at the top, this particular jam has 6 cards to it. And it's really easy to toggle between the cards. You just use these little arrows here, and then you can move between the different cards and put in your different responses. Now, I'm going to go back to my jam home by clicking on my jam here. And I'm just going to walk you through how you can share jams. You might want to duplicate jams. Once your jam is completed, you can PDF the jam so that you have the copies of the students' responses. So this is back at my jam landing page. You can see I've got a option in my more options called download as PDF, and that will just essentially download that entire jam as a PDF for me, so I have a report of what the students have created. Now, if I want to create my own jam, I use the plus button down here, or the new jam button, I click on that and that will open up a new Jamboard for me. And it's like any Google Suite product that we have. It works in exactly the same way. The only thing that you'll find that's probably a little bit different is this button over here, open on a Jamboard. Now, you don't necessarily need to worry about that button. What that button does is actually send your digital jam to a piece of hardware called a Jamboard. So a Jamboard is actually a device. It's like a big TV screen, and a lot of businesses use Jamboards as a way of collaborating on projects as part of, an agile process or a stand-up walkthrough of a product. So that's pretty much the main thing that'll probably be different. Also, this along the top here, so this is your card or slide creation. So again, I use this to move or toggle between slides in a jam. If I'm creating a Jamboard and I want to create a new frame or create a new card, I simply click on this side arrow and it'll create a new card for me, and I click back to be able to toggle between those. I'm just going to add on a circle on this particular card. So when we go back up to the card menu and I use the expand button, you'll be able to see a preview of each card. And if, for example, say I want to duplicate this card, I use the more menu option and I duplicate. And so now you can see I have two cards with circles. Again, I just name my jam and I can change my background. So the default is set to just white paper, but if you could do, lines and dots and, squares. So if you're doing any kind of maths teaching and learning, you can just do like a blue board, or you can upload an image that you might have on your computer that you want to be the background for your jam. And once I've set up my jam and I'm happy for it to go out to my students, I simply share it using the share tool. So you can see at the moment, this particular jam is private to me. But if I wanted to share it with people on my stage or students that I'm working with, I can individually share it with people. So I might just type in someone's name, and that person will now have access to my jam, and I can decide again what level of privilege I want to give them, so they can either be a viewer or just an editor, or I can share it with a wider audience using the get link tool. So at the moment it's restricted to only the people with the link. I can change that to anyone at P or C, or again anyone with the link. And once I've changed that, I just copy and I can share that link with whoever I like, and they can open up and access the jam that way. So I've created a jam for you to have a play with, and I have shared this link as well. So open up the jam link and have a go at playing with Jamboard, adding, using the different features. Feel free to add cards and things like that. And if it's a tool that you're interested in learning more about, let me know and I'm happy to walk you through it. And it's a great fun tool that we have available as part of our suite. Okay, thanks.